Welcome to the Nickel City Rush Hour on this special St. Patrick's Day edition. We've got a packed show today with special guest Jake Varcoe from the Bills Bunker joining us. We're super excited about that. We're going to talk about the Mack Hollins and Curtis Samuel signings and discuss how this impacts the draft. In honor of St. Patrick's Day, we'll talk about a few notable Irishmen that played for the Bills. We'll have a 4-round mock draft with trades. And lastly, we're going to give away $100 to the Big Stitch Embrodery and Apparrel. But first, and I got to say, this intro, what is St. Patrick's Day without some Irish music? Let's go. Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. As I said, we have a packed show tonight. I'm Mike. That's my co-host, Jake Podger, right there next to me. And we got a special guest, Mr. Jake Varcoe from the Bills Bunker, which you can find deep, buried underneath Highmark Stadium. Ralph Wilson had that bunker added years ago when they built Ralph Wilson Stadium. He was fearful of some things, wanted to have it. Somehow Mr. Varcoe got access to it. So two Jakes. I'm going to get confused tonight. Mr. Varcoe, how you doing? Thanks for joining our show. What's going on, man?
I'm great. Happy to be here. Excited for a great St. Patty's Day edition of the Nickel City Mafia podcast. Let's do this.
Awesome. So, Jake, let's talk about your channel a little bit. So there's a link. Actually, I got to add the link, but down below, awesome channels. You'll see the Bills Bunker. You want to get over there. He's done some really cool stuff. I saw him interview Elizabeth Morgan, a Buffalo Jill, recently in the past month. That was really cool. Bring back the Jills. I mean, Jake, bring back the Jills for the new stadium at the very least, right, Mr. Podger?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Got to make it happen.
Right. And then, he went viral with his amazing videos of covering especially the playoff games. So he did the last one, which is the KC loss, heartbreaker. And he recorded that, put it together in a nice 12-minute package. 116,000 views on that thing. Woo. It was special. And everyone's been talking about it, Mr. Varcoe. So is this something you do on an ongoing basis? Do you go to every game? You're going to do that next year? Or this year, I should say.
Yeah, so I went to just about every home game last season. I went to all home games except for the Buccaneers and the Giants game. I love recording the reactions live from the game, of course. It's a thrill to be there, first of all. And then I think it's a great idea just to capture what it's like to be at the game, the crazy environment, Bills Mafia, the passion that Bills Mafia brings to the table every game. So this is something that I've done in years past, and 100%. I'm going to continue doing this next season. Plan on going to every home game, and I have some potential road games in the works as well. Right now, it's Seattle or Detroit, so stay tuned for those.
That's very cool. I know you went to the Miami as well last year for that playoff win, which was cool. And you did the same thing. So love your channel. I've been subscribed. I don't know. I found you a few years back and been subscribed ever since. And I know Jake's a subscriber as well. Love your content. So if you haven't heard of the Bills Bunker, folks, for those out there, get on over, check them out. And I think, Jake, you're talking about doing some live shows this year. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm in a beginning Tuesday. I'm starting up a show, weekly show. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be called Table Smash Tuesdays. I'm not going to be jumping through a table, but it's Table Smash Tuesday. You know, Bills Mafia, they love jumping through the tables. This is a show by Bills Mafia for Bills Mafia.
Awesome. Definitely be watching for that. We got Battlehawk out there. Thank you for joining us, Trek Reviewer. He says it's almost time for DJ Mikey Mello. I like that.
Mikey Mello. That's pretty good.
Weston's out there. And let's see, Brett from Go Bills Podcast joining us. Thank you. And then Weston says, I was one of those 116,000 that watched that video. So
Hell
good
yeah.
stuff. He's got a lot of fun things going on there. He had some shorts going on about trying out to be a wide receiver. By the way, Jake, Mr. Podger, he's 6'5".
Woo! Sign him up, baby.
I know, right?
David Nelson. That's who you are.
6'5", 235 pounds. I'm actually the exact same size as Josh Allen is listed as, but I'm not quite the same athlete. So
I don't know. You look pretty darn good in your videos, Mr. Varcoe, I gotta say. And then he tried one with being a field goal kicker. It was hilarious. All right, man. Well, guys, we got a lot to get into. So I want to start with the recent wide receiver signings. Mack Hollins and Curtis Samuel. And Jake, I'll throw it to you. And I say, Jake, I'm gonna have to call you Mr. I'm just having to say Mr. all day today.
Mr. That's
Mr.
okay.
Podger. I'm gonna have you start. So talk about Mack Hollins and what your thoughts were when the Bills signed him.
I really like the signing, especially because it's on the cheap, especially this day and age with how inflated the receiver market is. 1 year, $3 million. I'll take that all day. He's a nice depth piece that we added. I wasn't really expecting that name out of all the names out there, but I like the move. He is a deep threat. He can go up and get it. He did some special things while he was in Las Vegas. And last year he was with Atlanta, so the numbers don't really speak for his ability, I think, overall. Quarterback play, super inconsistent. Not saying it was great in Vegas either, but he actually put up over 600 yards receiving. So I like the kid, and I think Mitch Trubisky definitely had a hand in him coming here to Buffalo because they played in college together at UNC. So I'm sure he was telling Bills management and Sean McDermott, like, hey, this would be a good guy to get, So it's just another depth piece. I think he'll play specials a little bit, and he'll probably be a rotational guy every once in a while on the field. He can block as well. Size, Mike, I think that's been a pretty big theme of this offseason with the wide receiver position. So, whether you can get the guy in the draft or get him in free agency, it sounds like the Bills are kind of erring that way. So I'm excited to get another big dude on the team.
Yeah, I love how we're building this army of big wide receivers. I've been saying that now for at least the last couple seasons. Mr. Varcoe, what was your thoughts on signing Mack Hollins?
Well, it was a bit of a surprise move because we all knew we needed a receiver. I was surprised at first when he saw the news. And Mack Hollins, I mean, he had his best season a few years back with the Raiders and over 600 yards there. That's some good production for a guy who he's a bit further down on the depth chart. And he's coming in here probably as a replacement for a guy like Trent Sherfield. So Sherfield didn't make too many big plays over the season, but potentially here you get a bit more boom or bust with that addition. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the team throughout the season. I mean, he's not going to be your go-to guy, but he could come up and at some big-time moments and make some plays like Sherfield did in that Week 18 matchup against Miami.
Yeah, he had 94 targets with the Raiders a couple seasons ago, which is pretty incredible. Sherfield was a pretty good run blocker. What do you guys think about his? I mean, he's a big guy. I think immediately he should be able to run block. Is that true, Mr. Podger?
Yep, definitely true. I would say I don't know if he's as good of a blocker as Gabe Davis was, but he can definitely come in and at least shield guys off, and he's going to be effectively very similar to like Jake Kumaro almost, I feel, But in my opinion, a better receiver and a guy with a little more speed. So he gives us that upside. So it's like Jake Kumaro, but a little bit better, if that makes sense. Yeah,
totally. Love that. So the next wide receiver signing, we're kind of divided. I'm glad you're on here, Mr. Varcoe. I'm glad you're on here because we're divided on this channel with our friends. And that was Curtis Samuel. Nothing against him, but I'm going to throw it to you first because I saw your video. You were super excited. Splash signing. But what was your thoughts on signing Curtis Samuel and the amount of money that we paid him?
I love the signing of Curtis Samuel, and I'll go right ahead and say the first reason is because of his best season in 2020 being under none other than offensive coordinator Joe Brady. And I'll go even further because I haven't really heard anybody mention this fact, is he's played with a quarterback by the name of Cam Newton. And we hear a lot about how Cam Newton, Josh Allen, we get those comparisons. Having somebody who can play wide receiver with a mobile quarterback, not everyone can do that because you got to be able to adjust on the fly. How many times last season did we see Gabe Davis in the end zone make a wrong read on the play and the ball just went nowhere to nobody? So I feel like this is a good addition. Having the ability to play with a mobile quarterback, having confidence in playing under Joe Brady, having your best season with him back in 2020. And he's a bit of a gadget player as well. You can line him up in the backfield. I think it's a really solid addition, but I don't think this team should stop batting at the wide receiver position. I think they still got to draft one.
Right. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, how this impacts the draft, because we just signed 2 wide receivers, and we've been doing quite a few mock drafts, and we've been taking wide receiver round 1, round 2. That might change things. But before we get there, Mr. Podger, I know we've had a lot of discussions on this move, but where are you at right now with that move, signing Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, I feel like Sean's going to murder me if I say if I agree with Jake on this one. So I'm kind of in between. So I like the signing. Again, I did not have that on my bingo card whatsoever. I feel like a lot of Brandon Beane's signings are that way. And I'll say, maybe it's 50-50 on how they turn out. Some turn out really good. Others turn out not so good. Like I was excited last year when we signed Trent Sherfield even. And I was like, man, not on my bingo card, but I'm excited about what he can bring. He was pretty low on the depth chart for the Dolphins. I thought he was going to be our slot. And here we have Khalil Shakir taking over for him. So Curtis Samuel is interesting because he can play slot, but he could also play on the boundary as well. So I like what he brings to the table as the player. I think the issue is you got to worry about the utilization of the other guys. But I guess that's Joe Brady's issue. And I love the point that you brought up there, Jake, just talking about how, he had his best season under Joe Brady, but also you mentioned that he played with a mobile quarterback, a guy that's used to doing the scramble drill. Like that is something that is really not talked about. And you made a good point about like Gabe Davis, even like that's tough to sometimes have the know of being on the, being in the right place on the field at the right time when you're doing scramble drill and stuff like that. How often do we see them, just not on the same page? So I think there is something to be said about that. So I love the point that you brought up there. I think that's brilliant. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm also glad that you mentioned you got to take a guy in the draft as well. Don't stop here, right? And we heard all the rumors about them trading Steph Diggs. So my mind was going immediately to the fact of, well, maybe that's why they did bring Curtis Samuel in, but we haven't moved Steph. I don't think we're going to move Steph. I think we're staying put there. We're going to take a guy in round 1 or round 2. But then again, it comes to that utilization piece. You're paying this guy almost $10 million a year, right? So he better damn well be on the field more than 50% of the time. Otherwise, I just feel like that price tag is too high. So that's my only gripe with it. And another thing too, it's like, will that disrupt Khalil Shakir from developing into the best player he can be because he's going to have to share unlimited reps, So those are the only 2 negatives I could see from it. But as the player, giving more fuel to the fire, I love it.
So let me play devil's advocate. So I love the player. I love what he brings. I love the speed. I love everything you guys have talked about. But I feel like the wide receiver class is so deep in the draft that you can get this type of player in the draft. First round, second round, third round even. There's some great players. Yeah. And there's some other needs. For instance, you're going to have Curtis Samuel, but your offensive line has just been shifted. There's been a change, right? And that offensive line was so good last year. You released Mitch Morse. You traded Ryan Bates to the Bears. And now you're switching McGovern over to center. David Edwards going to start at guard. And we saw what David Edwards did a few years ago when the Bills played them at SoFi. I was at that game. Totally got destroyed there. So there's a lot of unknowns. It could be.
He was going up against Eddie Oliver, though, too. Remember, Mike?
Oh, I know. But still, you're gonna be going against a lot of good players in the AFC East, in the defensive tackle side of things. So it concerns me there, and especially so that's just the offensive line. Now on the defensive side, you've got Jordan Poyer's moved on. Micah Hyde's probably going to retire. You did sign Taylor Rapp, but you got DeMar Hamlin. and you got Cam Lewis, and I'm super concerned about the safety position. There were some really, and I didn't even think we could touch them, but after I saw this sign, I'm like, why didn't we go after, a Darnell Savage, a Brandon Jones, Cam Curl? Why didn't we go after those guys? And the gentleman you had, who was the two guys you had?
Justin Simmons. He's still available.
Yeah, and then you had one from Baltimore.
Are we going to make a play? Maybe.
Who's the guy from Baltimore you're talking about as well?
Geno Stone.
Geno Stone. Yeah. So all those guys now, when we thought, we're not going to be making any moves, we don't have much money, they were in play. And I'm concerned. That's my big concern. And you are talking about Khalil Shakir. I feel like if we're going to draft another wide receiver in the first or second, all of a sudden people are starting to forget about Khalil Shakir. That kid's an up-and-coming star, deserves to be on the field, deserves to be a starter, in my opinion. So, that's my rebuttal, guys. What do you say to that? I'll go back to Mr. Varcoe.
Well, I 100% agree that we still have a need at safety, but I'm not going to take anything away from the addition of Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir. He definitely needs to be utilized, and I don't think that he might have some snaps taken away. I'll say that, but I think he's still going to be utilized heavily in this offense. And I think as many weapons as you can get for Josh Allen, if you go 5 wide receiver set, you got your 5 guys wide, you got Shakir there. It's going to be a real challenge for these defensive backs to really cover this wide receiving core, especially if you go out there and you add another wide receiver to this group. I think and with the money, $ value, the wide receiver position, you see how much Gabe Davis is getting paid in Jacksonville. I'd rather take Curtis Samuel for the money that we signed him at than Gabe Davis going out there. I still think there's needs, obviously, on the defensive side, especially at safety. The offensive line, you're probably going to draft some people there as well. But I think as many weapons as you can get Josh Allen in this offense, the more the better, because we've seen in years past, what do? They double digs in the playoffs, and then where do we go to? So having Curtis Samuel, another option that not only can be an impact player in the passing game, but also in the run game, I still love the addition.
All right. And Mr. Padre, there's a lot of mouths to feed. We got our young star, Dalton Kincaid. You want to see him getting, he got a lot more targets than we thought last year. I see that only continuing. And then don't forget about Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox, I think he restructured his contract.
Yep.
To help us out a little bit. And I mean, we ran a lot of 12 personnel last year, so that could happen. So I'm concerned that I just don't think it moves the needle enough when you have other needs, and the fact that you can get a great talent in the draft this year. And that's where I'm going to end it with my point of view. But I'll throw it to you, Jake, for your final thoughts on that, Mr. Padre. Sorry.
I mean, part of me is salivating because I just think of all the different personnel groupings we can have with these guys. It's gonna be fun to watch. Now, I hope we can execute it properly. I feel like in the past we've gotten these gadget guys, Nyheim Hines, Deontay Hardy, even Isaiah McKenzie, and I feel like again it just for whatever reason it didn't pan out to be that exciting playmaker model that they were supposed to bring. I don't know if that's on the player themselves or on the coaching. So that's my only concern too, in addition to the other concerns. But again, the player, we're adding more fuel to the fire, and I freaking love the fact that he can run the ball out of the backfield. We can motion him. He's eye candy, takes a little pressure off of Steph Diggs. A lot of positives he's bringing. The positives may outweigh the negatives just because of that alone. So I'm fired up for it. I'm curious to see how Joe Brady incorporates him in the offense, and let's make that $10 million a year worth it. That's all I got to say.
The guy can dance too. Have you seen his
dance
moves? He's electric.
Jake, are you Canadian?
I'm Canadian.
I love it. I could tell. Whereabouts? Oh, very nice. Okay, cool. Sweet. I'm right in Buffalo, so I'm 20 minutes from the Peace Bridge. Not far at all.
Okay, yeah. So I'm familiar.
45 from the Rainbow, 20 from the Peace Bridge.
Yeah, I get down there quite often.
Love it, man.
Hoping to go there in a few weeks.
When you're in town, we're gonna definitely have to meet up. It'll be fun.
100%. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'd love the chat, the folks that are out there now, give your opinions on that signing of Curtis Samuel. And for those that rewatch this, catch us on the rewatch, let us know what your thoughts are there. let's pivot now to talk about how that reshapes the draft, because up until those signings, we were talking on all our mocks, Jake, first round wide receiver, second round wide receiver. And to me, Brandon Beane's kind of laid out his hand. He's already gave the other folks a tell. It's like, I've already secured the wide receiver room. I can now go attack the defensive tackle needs. I can go attack the safety need and other things besides wide receiver. And I don't feel it will be, in my opinion, I've been saying this for a while, I think we're going to go DT with our first pick, whether that be in the first round or we move back some. And we're going to do a mock draft later on and kind of test some of these things out. But I think we're going to go DT. I think we're going to go a couple DTs possibly, safety. And then I still think maybe a wide receiver, third or fourth. I know we don't have a third right now, but if we did mess around with moving back, especially with that first round pick, we could potentially get a third rounder. So talk to me. I'll go to our guest first, Mr. Varcoe. And I don't know what you were thinking before these signings with how we were going to draft, but talk to me about how you see this changing the draft potentially.
Well, I do see it changing the draft. And obviously, a lot of people want the Bills to draft wide receiver in the first round. And I'm sorry, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It's still a possibility. I mean, there's reports that they've had a meeting, like a private workout with Troy Franklin today. So that is something that's something to keep an eye on. But I feel that this team has too many other holes to go wide receiver in the first round right now, unless there's some trade down scenario here. But I think your first pick's likely going to be a defensive back of some sort. Like the cornerback position still isn't completely solidified after Trey White left. You have Rasul Douglas under contract this year. It expires soon. And you have a couple other players at that position. Like I think cornerback is still a need. Safety, obviously, Taylor Rapp, sure, that's okay. I think I want him to compete for the starting spot, and I definitely don't want DeMar Hamlin to be our starter day one. So safety is something you have to draft, but I think our first round pick should be at some sort of defensive back.
Okay. I mean, good points, because we were saying this on the last show with Trey White moving on, with Dean Jackson moving on. All of a sudden, that depth that we had doesn't look so good anymore, right? And you got Kyrie Elam, who we've always said on this show, at least, like when he's in there, he makes plays. So this is his time to shine. We're going to need him. But Mr. Podger, how do you see? By the way, thanks Beth for joining us. She's saying I don't want a wide receiver in the first round. But Jake, how do you see this reshaping the draft based on what we had been doing, and now we know what we have two receivers already?
Yeah, the Curtis Samuel signing to me tells me that they're going to take the best player available, whether that's defensive tackle, defensive end, even defensive back, like Jake mentioned. How do you feel about Cooper DeJean, Jake? Are you a fan of him? Have you watched some tape on that kid? Because he can play corner or safety, brings that versatility. Me personally, I'll be totally real with you. I still want to get a guy. I still want to get a weapon in rounds 1 or 2. I understand not taking one in round 1 just because, like, it's the deepest wide receiver class since 2014, in my opinion. And then, there's some really good players that are not going to be available in round 2, whereas in round 2, you could still get a guy like maybe even Xavier Leggett. Just stay put at 28 or trade back. You can kind of have your pick of the litter then. That was my first question to you, Jake. How do you feel about Cooper DeJean?
I mean, he's all right, and I do like that versatility, being able to play cornerback or safety. And I mean, that's something that I'm sure this front office values, especially when you looked at how they moved Hyde from corner to safety. I feel like having that ability to move positions is something they definitely desire. But I will bring up one point before I throw this back to you. You were mentioning about you wanting to still get a weapon. I think a guy to watch for with the Bills, and this is just my thought process because of the Carolina connection, is a guy by the name Luke McCaffrey. I'd love to see this team draft him later, but we'll get to that stuff later, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I like that mention a lot. Yeah, I think he could be a good pick in the 5th round. It seems like he's available around there in most mock drafts right now. Now, obviously, that could be totally different once the real draft happens. It'll be interesting. But no, I still want to get a receiver in round 1 or 2, definitely. I prefer Xavier Leggett, who I've had the biggest crush on in the world. By the way, you guys see the video of him with his accent, people talking about that. It's incredible. It's just that good, like, Southern draw he's got going. Mike, you're going to have to watch that one because I'm telling you, it's great. And we need that. We need that here in Buffalo. So if there's even more of a pitch to get that young man, go watch that interview with him. It's great.
I'll check that out. And then Beth's coming in saying they may be bringing Hyde back and drafting a safety to train under Hyde. I was hoping Poyer would be brought back for that. And again, even if they do sign Micah Hyde, I don't think Micah Hyde's a full-time starter this year, only because of the injuries. But I haven't heard anything other than, who was it? Was it his wife that said thank you and all that? Put out the big thank you to everyone. So I don't know. It's really comes. I think the Bills will bring him back if he wants to come back. I would love to have him just for his leadership, 100%. But again, I don't think he's that every down player anymore. We saw that last year. We had 2 stingers. We saw both him and Poyer slow down a little bit. So I want to get someone young there. I'm kind of with you, Mr. Varcoe. It would be tough for me to say go DB first pick. I do want a DT. If we can get a Byron Murphy, Devondre Sweat, Braden Fisk, I would take any of those guys, and then maybe look at a safety. Jake, I know you want Leggett, but I think Bean's already telling you, man, he's not going to do it. I'd be shocked. And if he does do that in the first round, oh my goodness. I mean, now you're really shaking up. Don't forget, we got Justin Shorter.
Yeah.
We got Tyrell Shavers on a futures contract, another big kid out of San Diego State. I mean, we're full. We're overflowing with wide receivers, which is good. Don't get me wrong. And they're all big wide receivers, which is fantastic. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, buddy.
I'm banking on him slipping like DK Metcalf and AJ Brown did. That's what I'm banking on happening with Xavier Leggett.
So that could happen for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see here. Best saying we need a big running back. I'm hoping for the King, but alas, Western New York is not where his throne is. Was that Henry?
King Henry.
King Henry, yeah.
Derrick Henry. Yeah.
He is old, but the leadership and ability to coach a young rookie, that may be of our.
Yeah, I like that, Beth. Just because they said their goodbyes doesn't mean they're leaving. I think last year, similar situation with Jordan Porter, we thought he was gone for sure, ends up coming back and re-signing. So, yeah, I mean, there's always a chance that could happen. And I would take him back in a heartbeat if it's for the right price, even vet minimum, even a $2 million deal like Jordan Porter just signed. Sure, why not, right? Gives you that, I guess, that the safety net, although it wasn't really that much of a safety net last year. You could tell he looked a little cooked at times. But that veteran leadership is really important. He can help bring in a young guy and teach him and bring him under his wing. What
do you think about that, Mr. Varcoe? Bringing back a guy like Hyde?
I'd love to bring back Micah Hyde. I mean, he was one of my favorite players. I have a story. He stopped and signed something for me on the way into the stadium one day, and he's been one of my favorite players ever since. I mean, he's one of those cornerstone pieces of the defense for the last 7 years, a captain of the team. Like, he's Buffalo player through and through, one of those heart and soul players of your franchise. It's been difficult to see him suffer with these neck injuries over the last few seasons. And for his own personal health, I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up retiring. But bringing him back, if you can get him for a cheap veteran price, 100% do it. I mean, there's no real downside to bringing him back on a cheap deal. It's up to him, really.
Yeah,
that helmet right there, baby. Micah Hyde.
Make him part of the coaching staff, right? Just bring him back for that leadership and help train those young guys back there. Micah Hyde was my son used to drive delivery furniture, and he had to deliver. I remember him still that day. He's telling me, Dad, I get to deliver to Micah Hyde's house tomorrow. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And he went there, him and his buddy, they had to take a couch downstairs. Can you imagine going downstairs with a big couch and how heavy that is? And you're nervous because you don't want to hit the walls or anything. He said Micah Hyde was just the coolest guy. His wife was super nice. They took a picture with him, and they're like, my son runs out to the car to get something to sign, and he plays Frisbee golf. So he had one of these discs. He's like, he brings it in, and he says, can you sign this? He goes, my guy says, we can get you something better than that. And as it was, he went and pulled out a miniature helmet signed by Micah Hyde and gave it to him. But super cool story. My son is always I'm going to remember, and just a good guy. So, yeah, however you can bring him back, whether it be just part of the coaching staff or as a player, I'm down for it 100%.
Weston disagrees. Now, Weston, you know a thing or two about safeties and kind of developing guys in that safety role, as do we. So I do agree with you on that side of things, right? But I think for the right price, and then if you can't get someone in free agency and that's really your only option, then sure, go ahead and do it. I personally, if I'm getting a guy in free agency, it's going for Justin Simmons. And I know he's 30 years old himself, but he's still out there for a reason, right? Maybe he wants to find the right situation. You know, he wants to probably play for a contender. He's on his back nine, and maybe we can get him for cheaper than what his market value is. So I think there's still a chance. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Let me put something this way. Would you rather have Micah Hyde or DeMar Hamlin go in there if you need a safety?
True. Good point. Yeah.
Micah Hyde. In case
I'd take
people are
Micah
wondering our answer. Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
100%. Let's see here. He's the only safety in free agency
Justin Simmons,
that I like is Simmons.
Hell yeah, Beth. We're on the same page tonight, Beth.
Sure are.
Freaking love it. Yeah.
So Jake was coming in a couple weeks ago. He's like, I was talking to my cousin, was it? About this, and we're like, how can we get him? You came up with some creative ideas, and it turns out we had the money, so we could have signed him. And like you said, don't know what's going on. He hasn't been signed yet. I see some folks out there in the channel earlier on that were saying, let's just get someone in free agency. Well, all the good ones are taken. Now, unless someone gets cut, and that could still happen, as they start getting down to the 53-man roster and stuff like that. But still, all the good ones, if you look at free agency right now, there's no one really good out there other than Simmons.
Yeah, and another thing, too, it's like I prefer getting a guy in free agency just because the draft class this year for safeties a little more raw. It's not as good as years past. So to me, I'd rather have a veteran starting in that position rather than a rookie. So.
All right. Well, we're going to do something a little fun right now before we get into, I know it's the reshape in the mock draft, the draft. We're going to test those out when we do our mock draft, but this segment's going to be a little fun. We're going to talk about notable Irishmen in honor of St. Patrick's Day. Irishmen that played for the Buffalo Bills. And I know Jake, Mr. Podger, he's like, I'm going to find redheads. He was going all the way. I'm going to find some Irish redheads that have played. And I think he found some, but just notable Irishmen that have played for the Bills. And I'll start with you, Mr. Podgers, because you seem to have a slide.
I do, yeah. Let me see if I can figure this out now. I want to be able to present it. Can you guys see that? Is that big now or no?
It looks, on a desktop, it looks fine.
Okay. All right. So first up on my list, actually, I don't want to show you too many here. I'm going way out of order. I'm messing this all up. I'm just going to go like this. Is that all right? Forgive my technical difficulties here. First up, you got to start with a long snapper. So a lot of people that watch the show understand that I'm a huge special teams guy. I love the long snapper position. One of my favorite players on the team right now, longest tenured Buffalo Bill, Reed Ferguson. So I had to go back into the database, into the Bills bunker, if you will, and bring up my guy, Ethan Albright, the lowest rated player on Madden. And I think it was 2006 or 2005. And there was a funny thing that came out showing him with like a mock letter to EA, just basically cursing him out, saying, why'd you rate me the lowest player on Madden football? But, I mean, how could you not go with a guy like this? Look at that red hair. I mean, that's as Irish as it gets. Played for us from 96 to 2000. Actually was a Pro Bowler with the Redskins back in 2006 or 2007. So he finally got his flowers. But he played for a while in the league, and for whatever reason, Madden just didn't want to rate him high. And that's just because they don't really have a long snapper position on there. So they're going to rate those guys lower because they don't want them playing center. So Ethan Albright, first name on this list. It's a beautiful thing, guys. By the way, when I say top 5 Bills are Irish Bills, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be the best players in history, but I did rank them in order of how I felt they were, as a Buffalo Bill, I guess, in terms of how good they were with the team. So what are you guys' thoughts? You like it?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he enjoys a good old Shamrock Shake, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, you ain't kidding.
Long snapper, why did I know? Now I have a long snapper too, but I'll add that after you go through your list.
Heck yeah. Next up on the list, Trent Murphy. So a more recent Buffalo Bill here did some nice things for us. You know, he was on the team once that playoff drought was actually no, he wasn't there when the playoff drought was crushed, but he came back. He was with us in 2018, 2020, and did some nice things. Like I said, you know, a decent run defender. Didn't really put up insane numbers or anything like that, but had to mention him. I mean, look at that beard. He was bald on top, but the beard was flowing, man, and it looked great, and it's red as it gets. So looks like a leprechaun, right? Can't go wrong. And Murphy, what an Irish last name that is. Come on now. Got to do it.
Yep.
Next up, we got Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I had to use one of the most iconic pictures of him in the Buffalo Bills stadium, Highmark Stadium. He was here for a playoff game with his shirt off, screaming to the world that he is the biggest Buffalo Bills fan. By the way, he was still under contract with the Washington Commanders at this point. So even funnier, because what other team has a starting quarterback from a different team in their stadium cheering it on with the fans? I mean, it's awesome to see. He's probably one of the most beloved Buffalo Bills there is, but you know, with the last name like Fitzpatrick and him being called the Amish Rifle and having that little bit of ginger red tone to his beard and his hair, I mean, how could you not have this guy on the list? Unbelievable, man.
I'm surprised he's not your number one, so I'm curious who your top two are going to be.
Yeah,
so
well, like I said, Mike, so I didn't necessarily pick like the top 5 best players of all time. There are a few on here, you'll see. But I tried to rank them based on how they probably are as a Buffalo Bill. So I switched things up on this next one a little bit. All right. So I said top 5 Bills, right? I didn't necessarily mention that they had to be players. So I went with a coach, Mr. Sean McDermott himself, right? McDermott. I mean, that's pretty Irish, right? Again, this is a guy that's, you know, nothing on top, has a little bit of scruff here and there. And you could see there probably was some red in there at one point. You go back to some of his early coaching roster picks, I'm sure it was there. But, yeah, you got to put Sean McDermott on the list, right? I mean, breaks the playoff drought. He's our current head coach. I felt like it was necessary. So, Sean McDermott, love him or hate him, he's got to be on the list. And lastly, none other than Jim Kelly.
Stealing my guy. Dang it.
You had to do it, though, Mike, right? I mean, this is...
He's on my list, so sure.
And listen, before Josh Allen came to the Buffalo Bills, this is the best quarterback in Bills history. The only guy to take us to a Super Bowl and do all these amazing things. And, yeah, obviously you got to put Jim Kelly on that list. I do want to give a special shout-out, though, to John Murphy, voice of the Bills. I'm still going to call him the voice of the Bills. He's been off air for a little bit because he did have a stroke, unfortunately, but it sounds like he's doing better. He's on the road to recovery. He was literally named, this is on March 8th of this year, he was named Irish Person of the Year, John Murphy. So how could you not have a guy like that on the list? And obviously, well wishes to John Murphy and the entire Murphy family. He's fantastic. Honestly, no offense to Chris Brown, John Murphy, way better at the play calling on the radio. So had to put him on the list as an honorable mention.
So I have a couple you didn't mention, but I'm gonna go to our guest first to see if he had anyone additional. So, Mr. Varcoe, do you have anyone to add to that list?
I don't have anyone to add to the list, but I think the list deserves a nice McDermott clap.
Love it. Oh, I missed a good one here. Jack Kemp. Why did I miss Jack Kemp?
Well,
all right, so I got a couple just that are just
covered.
notable. Neil O'Donoghue.
Nice.
He's drafted in the 5th round by the Bills in 1977. He was cut 5 games into the 77 season. Played with Tampa and St. Louis from 78 to 85. What is he known for? The tallest kicker in NFL history, standing at 6'6".
Yep.
Now, couldn't confirm if there's any red hair though, and he was born. Actually, not this gentleman. There's yes, it is him. He was born in Dublin, Ireland. So very cool story there.
That's awesome.
6'6".
How about that?
Imagine?
6'6". Yeah, that's the tallest kicker. I mean, you got to have him on the list just for that alone. Also love that you incorporated special teams, Mike. Yes. Born in Dublin, Ireland. Of course, you have to have him on the list. That's a great name. A name that I actually considered, but I'm like, let's go with some more recent people. Although you got to respect your history, and I love that.
Yeah. And my last one was just another one, another tight end / long snapper that was drafted by the Bills in the 6th round in 2001, Dan O'Leary.
Nice.
Dan O'Leary, long snapper tight end. He was cut by the Bills going into the 2002 season, played just 2 more years. And again, can't find any photos that really show me if there are any red hair, but just some notable folks that I found to add to the list. So kind of cool, very cool. Tighter Matakavich is a ginger. That's saying. I think he's, yeah. By the way, you mentioned Kelly, and Kelly is like the #2 list. There's a site you can go to, the top surnames in Ireland, and Jim Kelly is #2 on that list. Guess who's #1?
Tom Brady.
Who's #1? No, I'm saying surname, last name.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Kelly's #2 on that list.
That's a good question.
You mentioned him. You already mentioned him. You mentioned it already. And one of the folks you talked about, it is Murphy.
It's gotta be Murphy. Yeah.
#1 on that list.
This is a good name by Trek reviewer, Jerry Ostrowski. Great name. Bills offensive lineman. Love that. Yeah.
Very cool. All right. That was a lot of fun. Very cool. By the way, I am Irish. Thornton, my dad's grandfather's dad, came over for Ireland and started us Thornton clan over here in the U.S. So pretty cool stuff. I'm a little Polish too, Jake. I know you're a Polish guy.
Oh, yeah.
My mom comes on the Polish side, but definitely got a lot of Irish in me. So let's pivot now to, let's get into a mock draft and talk about how the draft might have been reshaped with these recent signings. I think, Jake, it's only fair, Mr. Podger, I think it's only fair that we let Mr. Varcoe be the GM for this.
Okay.
And we are his assistants. We will help him. All right. So let me share the screen here.
I love this. A little less pressure on me. I've gotten some heat from my last drafts. Trek reviewer, by the way, he's very critical, but I think he means well. I like his train of thought, but there's a few picks where he's given me an F. So, Jake, don't get an F on any of your picks. Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to get some feedback here.
All righty. Now, Jake, we can make trades at any point in time. We will get offers when it comes to pick number 28, but we can also pause. So I think we'll pause it around 20 just to see who's taken and who's still available, and see if you want to make any moves up the board. Or you can say, you know what, Mike, I'm going big. I'm going up the board. I want you to pause at pick number 3. Does pick number 20 sound good? A good place to pause, or you want to go a little earlier?
20 should be good. Yeah, you know what? I'm excited. I'm really excited for this. I've been trying to become an NFL player for a little bit, but that didn't work out. So this is my audition tape for being a general manager, I guess.
All right. Well, let's roll it here. Let's enter this draft. Get things started.
Let's do this.
Mike, did you just do one round?
Oh, you know what? Let me fix that. You're right.
I thought you just clicked one.
You're right. You're right. Let's go back here. They look cool. You guys ever use the Brave browser?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Pictures.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams went first overall. How do you guys feel about him?
Not a huge fan. I think Drake May is the best quarterback in this class, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not a big Caleb Williams guy myself.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got a lot of unlikability, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does.
Right.
We'll review these Jake.
JJ McCarthy to the Jets. You see that one? Wow.
Did not. I'm going to review it here in a little bit. All right. Cooper DeJean, you were talking about him earlier. Safety.
They haven't listed at safety. That's
Ryan Thomas.
By the way, guess who else went to Iowa? Cornerback to safety convert, Buffalo Bill, Micah Hyde.
Interesting. Didn't DeMar go there?
DeMar? No, he went to Pitt.
Yeah, Pitt. Okay. So Caleb Williams, Drake May. I don't think there's any surprise there. Here we go with the Patriots signing Marvin Harrison. Which with them signing Jacoby Brissett, I think this is the guy. They'll probably draft another wide receiver or another quarterback maybe later for the future. But you can't pass. We saw mock drafts where they're passing up on Marvin Harrison. So I think the world is right again here. Joe Alt, great OT, Rome Adunzi, wide receiver. We've seen these. Nothing really surprise here. Tight end Brock Bowers. You surprised he's going in the top 10 at all? Either of you guys?
No.
He's top 10 worthy for sure. The Bears is interesting because they got Cole Kmet. Must be running double tight ends there.
You got Caleb Williams another up in there. I think that would be a good idea for them. Stack up.
Yeah.
Got a quarterback and got a top weapon for him too.
Young quarterback's best friend right there.
I'm actually surprised. I mean, I guess the Jets have to draft for the future, but their O-lines, and unless I haven't really tracked what they've done in free agency.
Tyron
Got a
Smith.
lot.
Okay.
And I know Tyron Smith's a little bit older, a little injury prone now, but like that's a good signing. They also got Morgan Moses too, so maybe they feel good about their O-line. They're like, hey, let's draft for the future. Let's get that backup quarterback that's gonna succeed Aaron Rodgers.
They'll pull a Jordan Love pick there, but it comes with a little bit less surprise because Rodgers, his days are numbered, and he could go down at any minute with re-aggravated Achilles injury for all we know. So I think that's a pretty good idea. They have been building up the offensive line a little bit. So honestly, might as well get a quarterback because they have a real problem drafting quarterbacks. Get a quarterback and coach them up behind Rodgers. I don't hate the idea if I'm the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much talent out there, though. But yeah, the quarterback is in need. Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU, goes to Minnesota. That's really needed that. Let's see here. Let's just roll down the board here. Brian Thomas, wide receiver, LSU. You kind of knew that, right? That's the guy we would have wanted. Now, I don't think so now. That's not the case. Even if he fell to us. I'll ask you, Jake Podger, if he fell to us, you going to take another receiver in the first round?
Yep.
Wow. How about you?
Best available player. He might be the best available player at 28.
Yeah, I think if he falls to you, you definitely have to consider it. And we hear about Brandon Bean always talking about the best available player. So if he falls there, I think they might just pull the gun on him.
He's big on that motto, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's resume this draft and get to our pick at number 28.
This is a good point by Trek Reviewer. Maybe they're prepping for that VP run. Who knows?
Yeah, Rodgers, he's got some bigger fish to fry, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hide this real quick. I'm going to hide this real quick just to kind of review. JPJ taking one spot before us. Wow, interesting there.
So let me get this straight. The Cardinals are trading for our picks. So they're going to get back-to-back first-round picks if we make that trade.
Yeah.
How about it?
And then
3 first-rounders it would be for them. Crazy.
So what has Keith been wanting on the AFC East summit?
Not a corner.
Not a corner.
I can tell you that. Yeah, especially if they just signed someone. I can't think of who that is right now.
Kendall Fuller.
Kendall Fuller. Thank you. Yes, good signing. Really good signing.
Very good.
Probably the best corner available on the market. So that was a really good move by them. He wants JPJ. He doesn't care. Like, even though they did go out and sign Dolphins players escaping my mind right now. Who did they sign at center? They just signed someone. Keith, right. I wish you were here, brother. This is tough. You know what? I did a lot of drinking last night, so I just want you guys to know I haven't had a drop of alcohol today. But last night, I made up for it. I probably drank more beers than anyone should drink in a month or a year or whatever. Okay, we're north of probably 30. So I was at a wedding. It was a great time. Shout out to Laura and Matt. Got to give you your props. It was incredible.
Love it. So, Minnesota going big. They take a quarterback and then they take Xavier Worthy. Obviously, the speedster out of the combine who ran, what was it, 4.2 something?
Yeah, 4.21.
Something ridiculous like that. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Aaron Brewer. Thank you, Ryan. Aaron Brewer.
Yeah. All right.
Good signing.
Buffalo Bills, you're on the clock. I should probably get my little soundboard here getting ready. But let's look at some of the. Okay. Yeah, we got some phone. Got some callers to you, Mr. Varcoe. Arizona offering you pick 35 and their second round pick. Surprisingly, is the only offer we're getting here.
Yeah.
So
hang up the phone, I think
you're going to reject that one?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry. All right. So we got, just tell me which position you want to go after. We got the best available right now showing. Byron Murphy is still there.
The two guys I like the most actually are right there. Byron Murphy and Kool-Aid McKinstry. I love the idea of drafting a cornerback with our first pick. I know you're big on getting a defensive tackle, Byron Murphy, someone that you can put into the defensive tackle rotation. That's a nice, solid, big body. But I love Kool-Aid McKinstry myself. I think he's got a lot of potential to be a solid cornerback in the National Football League. And, I mean, we've seen what this team can do with some of those defensive backs in the past. So I'm leaning Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm wondering what you guys are thinking here.
Jake, can you talk him off the ledge there, or
He's
you
definitely got the
agree with
best
that
name in
one?
the draft. There's no doubt. No one's
Oh,
topping
for
Kool-Aid.
sure. Hey, Kool-Aid, he comes crashing through the door.
Yeah.
Love it.
My biggest concern is just I know he has a foot injury, and that would leave me a little leery of selecting him. I think he goes a lot earlier in this first round if it isn't for that. So to me, I feel like controlling the line of scrimmage is a little more important. If you don't have good penetration, your corners probably are. I mean, it's a lot more pressure on them. And honestly, man, like I like Christian Benford a lot. I think a lot of people are still sleeping on him. Like he's a good young corner. And Rasul Douglas is going to get extended. There's no way that he doesn't get extended. Like this dude's
Needs to.
He's still relatively young. He's coming off a really good season with us. He seems like he fits perfectly in our defense. And I don't think they've totally given up yet on Kaiir Elam. Like I think with this new hire of Jamil Adai as our DB's coach, I think he could do some things with Kaiir and allow him to still play his game, but be a better fit in the zone scheme. So the problem with Kaiir Elam is that he's a man, like that's his bread and butter. Like he's a man corner. But I think you saw little glimpses of it his rookie year. Like he could still play, man. He played in some big moments and made some good plays. So I think the change of scenery with this new coach is going to be huge. I don't know if there was some like riffraff with him and John Butler. They didn't see eye to eye. I know he's coming off a foot injury too. That was kind of undisclosed. He said it really hindered him from making improvements during training camp, and I think it really set him back. So for him to get back on the field, do some good things and some bad, I think it was important, especially in that Pittsburgh game where he got an interception. So to me, I think I'm going Byron Murphy. And by the way, his comp right now, Aaron Donald. A lot of people saying he's Aaron Donald 2.0, which I love that. Aaron Donald just retired. Let's bring in a new Aaron Donald. Guy plays with an incredible pad level. And he controls the line of scrimmage, and we would have a hell of a rotation. Him, Eddie Oliver, and Daquan Jones.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in my 2 cents. I've been on Byron Murphy since you first drafted him in your first mock draft. I was like, who the heck's this guy? I did a lot of research, and now I can't stop. I just want this guy to be on the team. Only because him matched up with Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, whoever else they add there. I mean, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, stuff in the run, getting some pressure, getting some inside pressure on the quarterback is going to be great. The only thing with Kool-Aid McKinstry as well, Jake, is that like the other Jake mentioned, we do have 2 starters. Christian Benford is the starter. He's been the starter now for 2 seasons. Only concern there, he gets dinged up every year now. He's missed a few games because of injury. And then you got Rasul Douglas. And so your depth pieces are a little bit concerned. So if you were to draft Kool-Aid McKinstry, I don't see him starting this year. He might contribute if there's an injury. It depends how Kaiir Elam does. So for me, I'm one of the guy who's going to play day one. I think Murphy brings that to you. Anyhow, it's your decision, GM.
Yeah, you know what? I have been on the Byron Murphy train for quite some time. Yeah, I've kind of shifted my idea. I thought the Bills were going to lose Daquan Jones, to be honest. I kind of shifted my idea over to drafting a corner. But you know what? Let's pull the trigger on Byron Murphy. I love the idea of getting an extra rotational piece here in the defensive tackle position. And as he mentions right here, the Trek reviewer says Levi Wallace will be back. We've seen a lot of speculation about that. Seen Levi Wallace's post. I don't know if you have or not, but it looks like the clock is ticking on him coming back to Buffalo. Let's take Byron Murphy.
Love it.
All right, with the 28th pick overall, the Buffalo Bills take Byron Murphy II. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, you talk about best available too. I feel like he probably was the best available there. So
yeah.
Let me ask you something, guys. I'm gonna pause this a little bit. Let me ask you about that. If he's available 2 or 3 spots above, are you waiting for it to get to 28? Are you really waiting? Or are you going to move up?
I would move up. If he's at 26, that's a guy it's worth moving up for. I'm not going like 5 to 10 picks up though. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I don't want to give up too much, but yeah, I think it's worth it.
Ever seen
the thing is,
yeah, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
We've got 11 picks in this draft, and I don't think we're going to use all of those. So we're going to probably trade up. I could see us trading up there. And Brandon Bean, he showed that he's done it in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done it the last couple years when he took Kair, and then he took Dalton Kincaid. He moved up a couple spots. So I'm with you, Mr. Padre. Like if he's there 2 or 3 spots before, you got to go get this guy. All right, let's
Agreed.
resume this draft here.
Give us your
But-
grade, by the way, for each pick here. Track reviewer, I want to hear your grade. All right. Don't be
All
too
right.
easy on Jake now. Listen, I love the guy. I think he's great. He looks great as a GM. But
Keith's out there now, so if
give
you
me
have
your
any
worst.
more Dolphins questions, Jake, he'll cover you. Kool-Aid goes to Washington at pick number 37.
Wow. You see this, guys? Finally, OBJ, the speculation. It may finally happen. He may end up in Kansas City. Hollywood Brown and OBJ, that'd be something.
Those
Wow.
damn Chiefs.
I know, right?
Disgusting.
You know, look at the Patriots as they drafted Marvin Harrison, and then they go get their quarterback, Bo Nick. So love what they did there. Let's keep going here.
I didn't hear this Man of War. I don't know. Going back to New York, I mean, I could definitely see it. But honestly, like, I think he's a little overrated, to be honest with you. Still good player, but I don't think he's that like elite receiver that everyone keeps propping him up to be, you know? Like to me, there are a lot of other guys out there that are worth the contract that he's going to demand.
I paused it only because Mr. Varcoe, is there anyone like in your mind since we went DT? Who are you right now? Like what position are you really hoping to pull out here?
See, I'm okay. I might. You guys might not like this again. Right now, I'm hoping either you go safety or you make a trade down because
Okay.
I believe the Bills are missing a 3rd-round pick from the Rasul Douglas pick. So I could see us trading down here, adding a 3rd-round pick and something later as well. But I think the guy from Georgia, Bullard, is a potential fit for our safety position.
Well, let's see who's still currently out there. Bo Braid, Cole Bishop, Javon Bullard, Kalen Bullock, Jaden Hooks. I mean, I love what I see right there. Plenty of and I know, Jake, you were saying that you don't see these guys being day ones. Some of them.
No, they will be. They will be day one starters. But
Yeah.
to me, I just feel like the lack of experience and playing in a more complicated defense might hinder them from being the best version of themselves. So whereas like Byron Murphy, he's going to come in day one. He will start. He'll be in a rotation still because that's just how we run with our defensive line. But I think there's a difference there.
So T'Vondre Sweat is still there. He's the top guy left for DT. I don't know if he'll be there. Track reviewer, he wants to double up. He wants to take Byron Murphy and he wants to take Sweat. He's been saying that for some time. But here we go. You are the GM, sir. Anything you want to do, or should I keep it rolling?
Let's keep this thing rolling. The only trade I'd make in this scenario is a potential trade down.
Okay, sir. Let's move it. Troy Franklin, who talked to the Buffalo Bills today, decided, nope, I'm going with another team here. And
wouldn't that be nice if you could pick your team?
Look at this. Look who is taken.
My goodness, he didn't survive.
And then let's see here. Let me roll up here. T'Vondre Sweat.
Wow.
Troy Franklin's there.
Aaron Donald. They need him. Beautiful pick there. Troy Franklin was also a
Troy
possibility.
Franklin went pretty far down.
Yeah, he did. By the way, you guys see the trade yesterday? Justin Fields for basically nothing? A 4th or a 6th rounder?
How about the Steelers, man? Steelers making moves. Now they got 2 quarterbacks. They got Fields. They got Russell Wilson.
So the thought is he's going to learn behind Russell for a year to maybe work on his mechanics a little bit because I think he can be a guy. He's shown glimpses of it, but throwing mechanics, his drop back, that all needs a little bit of work. Might be the best thing for him.
Yeah, so Keith, you might have come in a little late. Patrick Paul, offensive tackle. I think in the first round, you took corner, I believe. Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. So if I see a team represented out there, and I think Man of War, is that our guy, Anthony? Maybe?
I
think it might be.
Know.
I think it might be. All right. So here we go. We got some trade offers, sir, on this one. You said you might trade down in this scenario. Let's look at best available right now.
Jake, by the way, I want to field this question for you. What do you think the Bills would have to give up to actually move up in the first round?
Depends on how far we're moving up. If it's like a few picks up, probably have to give, because we're missing that 3rd round pick. I don't think you want to give up a 2nd round pick this year. I could see the Bills. Obviously, you get rid of the first round pick, give up. Probably gonna have to give up a fourth, and I'm not sure if you're gonna have to give up a second for it or not. But you're gonna at least be giving up a first and a third or a fourth here to move up a few picks.
Yeah, I agree. If you're moving up, who are you trading up to draft? Like, is there a guy out there that you would trade up to draft in the first round?
Maybe Brian Thomas Jr., but with the additions to the wide receiving core, I don't really find that's a necessity.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
I think that would be my pick too. I'm trading up for a receiver or like 2 picks if I see Byron Murphy's available, something like that. Or like
100%.
a guy that slipped like totally by surprise. But I'm not moving up more than a couple picks for a guy like that. And then if it's Brian Thomas, even so, maybe up to like 2021-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe teens. We'll see.
So you got a few offers here, Jake, and you can also counter, by the way. So they're offering up pick 77, which is early third.
Yeah,
and then you got 112, which is what? We're talking fourth rounder right there? And they're giving up the third. Now you can counter here as well. And then let's look who else is making an offer here. By the way, you got to get the call. It's all about the phone calls. So we got Atlanta offering you pick 74 and pick 109.
74 and 109. And the other offer was 77 and what?
112 and a third rounder next year.
See, the third rounder next year makes it more appealing. For this situation, just because it's a mock draft, I think I'd take the Atlanta pick of getting the 74.
Okay. You have a shot like we always do it. Like you have 3 opportunities if you want to counter here. We always put a limit on it. Because if you wanted to get, pick 112 is 4th round material there.
Yep.
If you wanted a counter, you could, and you choose what you want here. Just saying, if you're good with that pick, we'll go with it. But I want to let you know all the options that you have. That's what I'm getting paid for. I'm your assistant, buddy.
You move down 17 picks here.
By the way, if you don't make a good pick, Mike's walking. Like he's getting the papers and he's leaving.
Yeah, I always fall on the sword for everybody. I did for Jake when he got his F. I had to walk out I got my papers the next day and walked out escorted out of the building.
Yeah. Roy, by the way, I hope you had a great birthday. I see you're in the chat there. He said he just got home from Syracuse, wants us to start the show over. I would do it for you, Roy.
See, let's go ahead and take Atlanta's pick 74.
You want to counter? All right, let's do it.
No, Atlanta's.
Oh, 77?
Offer from Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. All right.
Yeah.
Pick 74 and 109?
Yeah, let's take pick 74.
All right, there we go. Taking it.
Good point, Roy. I think based on this situation, right? You don't want to have to, grand scheme of things, yes, but not in this situation.
Exactly. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Let's see before I go through the offers, let's see who they took at 60 with our pick.
Oh, there goes Baller. That's the guy I was going for.
Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. They took Carson, cornerback, was taken by the Colts. Max Mountain, a lot of cornerbacks here. A little bit of a run. Edge, another quarterback here. Now this is a little crazy, but maybe not.
Wow, he slipped quite a bit there.
That's a lot, yeah.
All right, so you were second. Javon Bullard is one of the guys. Braden Fisk was a guy that we've been talking about for a while. It would have been great to have both him and Murphy. But here we are at pick number 74. You do have some offers. So let's take a look. Billy's offering you, that doesn't look appealing at all.
Nope. I'm not trading this pick.
Okay. And that was the only offer. So we'll reject it. Where are we going, sir?
See, we got to take a safety here. So do we go with...
Let's take a look.
I want a safety in this spot. How are you guys feeling about safety?
I don't mind that.
I'm all with you right here.
Do we want to go Braid or Bishop out of Utah? I think going out of Utah, we've seen Brandon Mean make some picks out of there in the past. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to Utah with Cole Bishop.
Let me see here.
That's a good pick.
So Cole Bishop had a
Bishop's
pretty good combine. He's got great size and height and weight, which I really like.
Look
I
at that
like
Maz score, 9.81 too. Yeah, he's a freak.
I like Bullock. He's 188, 6'2", one of the top safeties in the 2024 class. Played for USC. A real ball hawk. I just think this guy's a playmaker. But I don't hate Cole Bishop. And also Jaden Hicks is also that perfect size, 6'2", 211.
Yeah.
So Cole Bishop on. And then what about Bo Braid? Why are we passing over him? What's going on there? 6 foot, 203. Let's see here. Anybody have any thoughts on him?
I mean, it's not a bad pick to me. I've watched more tape on Cole Bishop, and I'm just like enamored with him. Like that's it's probably my favorite safety prospect out there. Like I think he's the most pro ready guy. Like he's gonna thrive at the next level. I see like Harrison Smith comparisons.
Right, we took Byron Murphy in the first. He's like, that's the first round. At least tell me that. Byron Murphy, sir. All right.
I'm ready to pull the trigger on Cole Bishop here.
I like that. That's a good pick.
Who's the pick there, sir? Oh, Cole Bishop?
Yep. Yes, sir. Right. With the 74th overall pick.
There we go.
The Buffalo Bills select Cole Bishop.
Oh, beautiful.
Safety. Utah.
I'd feel pretty good about these two picks. This is nice.
I do feel good about it. I would have taken Kalen Bullock. You know my reasons why. I just been high on him, watching tape.
Ball hawk.
But
he's a ball hawk too.
I don't mind your pick right there. He had a really good combine.
I agree with what Keith says here too. Yeah, Bo Braid, to me, like he's not the 68th ranked player in my mind. I feel like he's probably 100s around there. Not a bad player. I like these other guys better, more experience. He's very raw. Oof, track reviewer giving you an F. Wow.
Damn.
Track reviewer. Who would you have taken, sir? Who would you have taken there? All right. We got to trade over from the Raiders. Again, we're not going past the 4th round, so neither of these really do much. Pick 109.
What are our remaining picks right now for this is a 4-round mock, right?
It is.
Yep.
So what are our picks in the next 4?
I think we just have 120. No, we got 128 and 134. So they're both 4th rounders.
Okay. So addressing some needs remaining. We got to get out of the safety spot here.
Okay. Where do you want to look?
Just click all right now. Dwayne Carter's still available. That's crazy. Yeah, we do need a receiver at this point in time.
Okay. Track reviewer, he's like, I'm about to change that F to something better.
He knows.
You go with my guy Johnny Wilson.
Let's take Johnny Wilson from FSU.
Oh. It's a good pick.
There you go, track reviewer. With the 97th overall pick, the Buffalo Bills take wide receiver Johnny Wilson out of Florida State. Welcome to the team.
That F is going to turn to an A real fast.
I know. I'd have to see where Brendan Rice. I want to see where Brendan Rice went.
You go get Audric Estime on this next one. He's probably going to give you an A++.
Audric Estime, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we got Ty Johnson back there too. I don't know if we draft a running. If we do draft a running back, I don't know about this really. What do you guys feel about drafting a punter at some point here? Is that outlandish?
Early?
It's not outlandish.
Not early.
I just right now. So we re-signed Matt Hawk, and I think they're going to compete. Mm-hmm. Him and Sam Martin are going to compete. Actually, Sam Martin's on contract still, right? He's not a free agent, is he?
No, he's not.
I was going to say, yeah, he's still on contract. So yeah, they'll probably compete. The biggest question marks really are just whether Matt Hawk is going to be the greatest holder of all time. So
right.
I don't think it's outlandish, especially given that we have 11 picks. Now, here, I'm not taking them in the 4th round.
No, for sure not in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Brendan Rice is still available, guys.
Yeah, wow.
I like the McCaffrey bloodlines.
I do too.
You like the
think
McCaffrey over the Rice bloodlines?
I don't like it over Rice, but I like the
fair.
McCaffrey
That's
bloodlines.
fair. It's fair.
Nah, you're the GM. I'm just trying to assist. This is why I get walked out the door often.
And yes, Roy, yes, he's 6'6", 235. I think he actually weighed in at, and he ran 4.53 too. So really good time on him. Athletic. The only knock on him really is that he has some concentration issues, and people really wonder like if he's a tweener, is he a tight end or a receiver? Will he be a convert at the next level?
Can you click? Yeah. Okay. So
Just tell me what filters you want, and I'll make the change for you.
Dwayne Carter is available there too. I do like that.
Yeah, I do like that as well. We addressed the defensive tackle early, but it's crazy that he's still available. Kalen King is interesting to
Kalen
me.
King's
Corner.
nice too. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a cornerback here, just because of all the things I said earlier about the cornerback position. We obviously need to get Douglas extended, and I think that's something that will happen. But you also have to plan for the future. You have Bamford, you have Elam, but there is the potential that Douglas doesn't resign. So I'm gonna address cornerback right here, right now.
Okay,
like
and that's Kalen King.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like that pick. I think this is a good spot for it too.
All right, with the 111th pick overall, the Buffalo Bills take Kalen King, cornerback out of Penn State.
Nice.
Let's take a look at our draft.
By the way,
Trek,
we were saying he'd move Johnny Wilson to fullback. So you're saying this is going to be Doran Dickerson 2.0. That's what I'm hearing here, Trek.
I didn't realize I didn't realize. I guess we did have another pick because one of our earlier trades. So here's a trade offer. I think we should ignore it just because it gets us past the fourth. So let's reject this.
That's no fun.
And Brandon Rice taken by KC. I'm telling you guys, you let him have him.
Look at Luke McCaffrey.
Now we're in trouble.
Luke McCaffrey goes with his brother. That's
crazy. Yeah, that's nice.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
That's interesting. Okay.
Brandon
well, that puts a
Rice.
fork in my plans.
Where's Wes and Chad? They're probably extremely happy with seeing
they
that.
gotta love that pick. At 132, that's great value too.
Yeah.
I know people in the comments section want Audric Estime, but my eye goes to Mason McCormick, offensive guard. Get some more rotational pieces for the offensive line. Get some more depth because that's something you need. Last season, you were completely healthy on the offensive line. That's not going to happen again. The odds of that happening again are highly unlikely. We've seen a couple offensive linemen depart the team now. I go offensive line here, add some depth at the position.
All right. I don't mind that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Mason McCormick, welcome to the Buffalo Bills.
Let's go.
Let's see if I have a job tomorrow. So there you go, channel. Here's who the Buffalo Bills welcome. Your new Buffalo Bills, Byron Murphy with our first pick at 28. Cole Bishop, safety out of Utah with our second pick at number 74. Johnny Wilson, wide receiver out of Florida State. Oh boy, this wide receiver room is going to be battling it out. Who's even going to start day one? Going to be interesting. Then we got Kalen King, cornerback, to address the GM's concerns about that cornerback depth, and that Mason McCormick, Fire Podger.
I'm not even doing this here, Trekker. This is not me at all.
Fire Podger.
What, we don't like this draft class?
I'll fall on the sword.
And then Mason McCormick, offensive guard. So there you have it. Welcome your team. I think, again, I'll fall on the sword. If they're going to give you Fs, I'm going to take it. But what do you think? Let's go to Mr. Podger. What's your thoughts on this draft, sir?
Every player, the value on each of these players where they were taken, I think, is really good. So you did exactly what Brandon Beane probably would do, and that's take the best available. So I like what you did here. I think you addressed some good positional needs that we have. So overall, I mean, I'm giving this like an A-.
Wow.
Only thing I would want is a receiver a little bit earlier, but I like the Johnny Wilson pick. I think that's in the third round. There is a little bit of a question mark on him about what he's going to do at the next level, like what position he actually plays, but it's another weapon, right? So can't really go wrong.
Yeah, I wish we would have gotten Luke McCaffrey. I really do. I want them to draft McCaffrey.
This is funny. Bodger can work with Cam.
But here's a question for you, Jake. How do you feel about Cam Lewis?
Cam Lewis, our corner. See, the
Slash
thing
safety.
about like, pardon?
I said slash safety as well. Free safety.
Yeah,
They got a list
so-
at free safety right now.
Versatility there. We saw him come in the playoffs and do some things. I'm not fully confident in him like taking over a starting role right now or anything, but as one of those depth players that comes in as someone who can play when you have that injury, and he's someone who has experience in the rotation in Buffalo. I like him overall. It's just I need to see more from him before I give him a starting position on this team.
That's
Yeah,
Yep.
that is fair because last night on a Ruthish show, Trekker Viewer was giving me a hard time because I said that. I'm like, yeah, Cam can start in a pinch, but I don't want him to be the long-term solution there. He's versatile. He plays almost 75% of the special teams plays, which we need now that we lost Tyler Matakevich. So I'm good with Cam being that. And again, he only got paid $1.55 million per year, 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So he's just a nice step piece. Yeah, exactly
It's like
right.
that respect of being a starter, that's earned, not given. And to me, he just hasn't done enough to be a day one starter. Maybe he goes ahead and has an amazing training camp and preseason and impresses to the point where he is a starter, but that remains to be seen.
All right. Well, awesome job, Mr. Varcoe. Thank you. That was a fantastic job. Cam is Donovan Greer light. Who the heck is Donovan Greer light? Please tell me, Jake, who's that?
Donovan Greer, it's ringing a bell. I want to say, oh my gosh, this is killing me. I definitely know it. I know the name. Forgive me, I'm a little slow today. All right, like I said, coming off a bench.
You've been partying? St. Patty's Day party today?
Not today. Like I said, I haven't had a drop of alcohol today. I've just been hitting water all day.
What? Biggest day
last night.
One of the biggest party days in Buffalo.
Well,
what's going
last
on,
night
man?
was my biggest day, so it was fun.
So a lot of partying for St. Patty's Day up where you are, Mr. Varcoe?
There is, but I have not been partaking in it. I actually have an alcohol allergy. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow.
Do you really?
I have an alcohol allergy. It's a crazy little tidbit.
It's a blessing too. Also, think about
honestly, it's not the worst thing to be allergic to.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
As long it's not chicken wing, so we're good.
Yep. There you go.
Well, Jake, I don't drink. What I do drink is Coca-Cola out of a bottle. That's it. No alcohol for me. Which I'm making St. Patty's Day. I mean, the people are saying, "What? What are you doing? You're all dressed up and you don't have a drink in front of you? Not an alcoholic drink? Sorry." I'm going to get the spin ready. So last segment, guys, is we're going to give away that Big Stitch apparel, embroidery and apparel, $100. The way this will work, I'm going to bring up the wheel and have somebody give me a random number. We'll have our guest and we'll shuffle it that many times. And then, it'll be, we'll pick the winner. And into the Discord, I'll send you a private message with the code you're going to use over at Big Stitch. While I'm getting this ready, Jake, can you bring up Big Stitch? And while I'm getting the wheel ready?
Corner safety.
Okay.
Special team, or rather, corner special team. I was going to say, I know that sounds so familiar. Jabari Greer, too, another name for you. No relation.
So, Jake, can you bring up the Big Stitch site? You kind of throw it around while I'm getting ready for the wheel to spin, the wheel here.
Yeah,
Former Buffalo Sabre. Love that.
Yes,
Chris Greer, GM for the Dolphins. Big Stitching Embroidery. All right. I'm on it. Got to show you guys something kind of cool too here. So we finally have our merch listed on the site, which is awesome. Let's go share the screen here. So yeah, be sure to check it out. Big Stitching Embroidery. All right. So here's the website right here. You will see it provided in the description as well. And if you go to company apparel, we now have our merch listed on here. So if you click on that shop now button, pretty cool stuff. We got a quarter zip, a couple quarter zips, actually. We got the beanie listed. We got like this windbreaker starter jacket type thing. It's sharp. Yeah, you could do different colors too, by the way. So if you want to go, you can switch between, I think they have only 3 different colors. So black, navy, white, obviously with the Nickel City Mafia logo in the middle there. So pretty cool stuff. And yeah, definitely about it. So, and this isn't the only stuff you could buy on here. I'm just featuring it because it's Nickel City Mafia, right? So if you want to use that $100 in some Nickel City Mafia merch, support the fellas, that'd be kind of cool. But in addition to that, you can basically send him any type of logo or word art or anything that you want to print on, a shirt, a hat, mugs, socks, you name it, anything out there. So obviously Buffalo based company. So you'll see a lot of the products that he has listed are Buffalo like collection items. So like there's this with the chicken wing and the
like
celery there,
cool.
Obviously. Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, he's a small business. He's kind of just getting started up right now. He's going to a lot of like flea markets and all that good stuff, but working on his website, obviously that's coming along too. And doing some great things. So yeah, Big Stitching Embroidery, and that's what this contest is for, guys. So you're going to get $100. You're going to get that code, and you're going to be able to use it. You get a free $100 to use on anything of your choice.
And did you mention they do custom? Like if Chad wanted to send them a Chief logo, you can put that Chief logo on there. Or
I mean, he won't love that, right? But he'll do it for you. He's a Bills fan himself.
No, he'll make it to perfection, I'm sure. Let's see here. Let me make sure I get everyone lined up again. All right, let's share the wheel. And again, we've been running this. How long would you think we've been running this for, Jake? Maybe a month? Close to a month?
Yeah, about a month, I would say. Yeah.
So out of a month, we only had 8 people dare to join Discord. I don't know why. It's free. I don't know what people are so scared about. You can run it on your phone, your desktop, your laptop, pretty much anything. And we love it because in our Discord, we have different threads, Buffalo Bills threads. Hopefully we can get Mr. Varcoe to join us here. The description is the link to join our Discords in the description of the show. And join us. We have Buffalo Bills talk pretty much every day of the week. We have AFC East Summit talk. We have Buffalo Sabres talk. We have fantasy football because we have guys that do fantasy football shows for us. So whatever you want to talk about, there it is. Now, we haven't made a Chiefs channel yet, Chad or Weston, but I'm not opposed to it if you join the Discord. But there you go. We only had 8 people. We had SoCal Saber, which is my dad, Big Al, which is Jake's dad, The Fool, Trek Reviewers out there, Tom John G, he's out there, Ryan, and Howard the Duck, and Galaga Boy, Tom, one of our members of the channel. So this is going to be fun. I need somebody to give me a random number between 1 and 10 because I'll shuffle the board, I'll shuffle the wheel, and then we'll spin it. So
Weston, yes, it is. It's totally free.
Yep.
And we got a bunch of different threads, a bunch of different channels. So join, man. It'll be fun.
Yep. So our guest, Mr. Jake Varcoe, pick a number between 1 and 20.
We're going with number 4, James Cook.
All right, we're going to shuffle this thing 4 times. 1, you'll see those names start changing around. 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to immediately start the wheel. This is going to be quick. Here we go.
All right.
Big
The
moment of
winner
truth.
is, oh boy. There it is. Tom holds on.
Nice.
Galaga
All right,
boy.
Tom.
Woo!
Heck yeah, that's a good win. Listen, Tom is one of our 2 members of the channel here, Mike. So
Yes,
that's an awesome win. Happy for him. He deserves it. He does a lot for us, and we appreciate the hell out of you, Tom. Thanks as always, man. And couldn't have gone to a better dude.
Yeah, that was fun. So very cool. Again, get into the Discord. It's free, lots of fun. So, Mr. Varcoe, I mean, how was your first? I think this was your first live stream ever, right? Or did you do another live stream with someone else?
Well, I've done some live streams in the past on the Bills Bunker. It's just something that I haven't been really doing too much of, and I'm happy to be starting them back up. I'm going to be doing my Table Smash Tuesdays coming up, but I mean, great being on the channel here. It's been a real blast and a lot of fun conversations we've had. Interesting to get some other analysis from other Bills fans on the mock draft and hear about what you guys think about some of our signings. I mean, it's been real fun, and I'm excited to do more live streams. So hopefully we do some more collabs in the future.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let us know when you Tuesdays are have our AFC Summit, but one of us will be available. So if you ever want us, reach out. We'll definitely return the favor. Appreciate you.
We'll be in touch.
It was a lot of fun. Your channel's great. And again, everyone, get on over. I'm going to put the link in the description here shortly, but it is already on our homepage. You can just scroll down a little bit on your phone, on your desktop, laptop, whatever. You'll see a section called Awesome Channels. The Bills Bunkers right there. You click the subscribe. Done.
Yeah, I got a video on there that Chad the Chief will love.
Oh, what is it? What is it?
The Chiefs reaction video. I'm sure Chad will love that.
Oh, yeah.
I got a lot of Chiefs fans watch that video and a lot of comments from Kansas City fans.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're honestly, they're pretty great to me. So I respect the hell out of Chiefs Kingdom, but it's just unfortunate for us.
Jake and I feel the same. And we've done 2 years in a row now where when it's off season, we talk about have the Buffalo Bills did enough and we, to compete or take over the Chiefs. And we do like a breakdown position group by position group. And Jake, we've had nothing but a lot of cool Chiefs fans come in there. Nobody's saying you guys are terrible. We try to be fair. They think, most of them say we've been fair. So we find it, to be the same there. Mr. Varcoe, is that, Chiefs fans are pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, 100%. They had a long period where they went without winning. And I think that's kind of something that a good fan base that's something that a lot of good fan bases endure. So shout out to the Chiefs Kingdom, but obviously Bills Mafia through and through.
Definitely. Chad, yeah, absolutely. We'll get you back on too. Maybe we'll just get a big show of a bunch of creators and we'll have all of you guys on. I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I always forget, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, drop a nickel on that subscribe button, and share our video or share our show with others. That's how we're going to grow. We're getting close to 1,700. I think we are 8 subscribers away from hitting that 1,700 mark, Jay, on our way to 2,000. And, looking forward to getting that done by the end of this year, maybe even earlier. So appreciate all of you in the channel. It's been a great time, a lot of fun. Happy St. Patty's Day. And I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my night with the fam. Still early here on the West Coast, 7:30. Mr. Padre, any last closing thoughts from you, sir?
Congrats, Tom. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Jake, you were incredible, man. Don't be a stranger. Would love to do more content with you. If you ever have a place or if you need a place to stay, if you're here in Buffalo, you want to come by, we'll have a couple beers. Well, not a couple beers, a couple wings. Definitely do that. Yes, but no, man, this is great. It was fun.
Hey, you brought it up. So we got to ask him. When you come to Buffalo, Jake, where's the wing place? Where's that wing place you like to go
Barbell
to?
Tavern.
I'm a wing nut. I'm a wing nuts guy.
Wing nuts. That's right.
Wing nuts is good. Yeah, wing nuts is good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty solid stuff.
Have you had barbell?
Barbell. I haven't had barbell.
Okay, I'm gonna change your life. I promise you. Wing nuts is good. It is very good, but I'm gonna change your life with barbell. I promise.
Okay, I'll be trying that next time I get down there. How often do you guys go to games?
So this year I went to 6 games total, and I wasn't expecting to go to that many. I only knew I was going to 1. I went to the home opener, and then after that, they honestly, I don't know how, but I somehow got invited to a bunch of other games. And by the way, guys, I was just talking to my neighbor, and he said that his buddy went and got like the Bills experience because he's a season ticket holder, and the PSL licenses are going to be starting to be a thing here in Buffalo. And for like club seats, he's looking at club seats like $20,000 for the season. And then he said 300 level seats are 7,500. Apparently, that's what they're going to be. Talk about pricing out the common man. I mean, that's a little tough. I don't love that. I hope that's not true. I don't know if anyone else in the chat here has more knowledge on that, but if that's the case, man, like that sucks. That's a lot.
That does. Yeah, it is. It's getting up in price for sure, but that's what comes with the team success, and definitely going to happen with the team stadium, 100%.
Right.
But
yeah,
I'm hoping to meet up with you guys at a game here coming up.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so I don't get out there. I went back a couple of years ago, met Jake for the first time, went to a Dolphin game, took my family. Yeah, I've never been there, so that was cool. And I went to SoFi Stadium and see the opening Thursday night game a couple of years ago. That was cool. Took my kids. Great experience.
Good game.
I think they're coming back out to SoFi this year again. I can't remember if it's the Rams or the Chargers, but might be looking to go. So, all right, glad Josh Allen was able to make the show again. So I guess you got to ask Mr. Varcoe here. So Mr. Podger has been told he looks a lot like Josh Allen many times. See any resemblance there, sir?
I can see the resemblance. I can see it. The one that I get all the time. I get Joe Burrow all the time.
Oh, I can see
Yeah,
that. I
you
can
got
see
that same your hair. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
When I put on the sunglasses at the stadium, it's real.
Dude.
It's real.
Yeah, for sure.
All
I
right.
can see that.
Well, let's end this, guys. 1 hour, 30 minutes. Fun show. Thank you, everybody. Take care and go Bills.
Go Bills.